For record purposes, my name is Kalikumutima and Deo. I'm an attorney. I'm also the Chief Executive Partner, Kalikumutima and Co.Advocates. I do a lot of work in the real estate sector and the land space. I have interfaced with the system from its inception. And I have also, by virtue of our work at the firm, executed work on the system or carried out work on the system, and also helped some of our clients familiarize themselves with the land information system. Our first interface was in 2012. I was honored to be part of the team of stakeholders that were invited by Ministry of Lands for a consultation stroke training that involved lawyers, valuers, surveyors, and it has been an interesting journey the last 12 years, I must say. But I don't regret it. I'm glad that I was part of that team, and I'm also glad that I was part of the subsequent interactions with the stakeholders. I think there was another in 2015 or 16 and one a year or so back, where the ministry was doing a refresh of sorts to make sure that the stakeholders are conversant with the system.
Brilliant. What does it mean to the legal fraternity or actors like you or your organization where you've been actively involved, in conveyancing land-related matters, now that it's largely being to an extent?
I believe it is a disruption of sorts. Let me start there. The last major disruption that we had, I think, was COVID, two or so years ago, where we had to learn new things. We were coming from times where everything was done manually. Where I alluded to COVID, by way of analogy, with that disruption, the world had to change. We had to change the way we think, the way we work. Now, we are living in the age of globalization. If you look at business today, and you're looking at the key drivers of business, technology is one of them. And I believe this system is connected to technology. So for us as practitioners, this disruption or innovation, actually, I must say, is very welcome, is very necessary, and it was a wake-up call. We are very much away from our old times of carrying old paper files, everything done manually. Now you have to sit with your laptop and you're able to track your work. Of course, I know it is work in progress, which means that we also keep learning, but this change is inevitable. If we don't change it, it will change us. So we must embrace it as practitioners. We must make it work, because to a great extent, it makes our work a lot easier. A lot easier. Gone are the days of the queues. I'm not too old or old-fashioned, but I must say that back in the day we had times where we would queue up, like some of us do, those of us who come from the villages. And you're in the window somewhere. We had a special room 10 at Ministry of Lands, and everyone is holding up, "Oh, please, see me." Those times are gone. We have 22 zonal offices, I believe, and maybe we shall have more. If I'm in Soroti, I know I'll go, lodge my papers. They are received both manually and electronically. They will intake, scan in, run their workflow. I get my deliverable, my work done. Now, of course, at a certain point, I may talk about challenges, but this has surely made our work easier as practitioners. Aside ease of work, it has also helped us greatly manage fraud. Recently, there was a lot of excitement in the media. I think Ministry of Lands is in the process of cancelling some titles that were created in Forest Reserve, and there have been similar discussions on wetlands. My understanding of the system, you cannot create a title in a forest reserve today. Neither can you create a title in a wetland. The system will reject it. That is my understanding. Of course, later I will touch challenges also, because these systems are manned by human beings. And for me, I will tell you, a human being is the worst animal. It is not the animal in the national park or the one that you see in the zoo, it is the human being. So, to a great extent, fraud is mitigated. We have this interface now. You have the land information system, the judicature has ICMIS, the electronic court management system. NIRA has a system, URA has a system, URSB has a system. If Deo is saying they own a company, and that company resolved to sell and transfer land to Sheila, the registrar, real time at their desk, is able to double check certain things. That interface not only makes work easy, but helps you manage fraud. Because there and then, you detect it and you say, no, I'm flagging this transaction. This transaction is not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Neither. One of the key elements that we have under fraud, we have had so many issues of impersonation, identity issues. Now the registrar has interface with what? With NIRA. Am I dealing with Kalikumutima and Co.Advocates, the real guy, or the fictitious what? Person? Real time, it is detected. But also extending to us, again, is the issue of due diligence. If I'm doing due diligence today, my work is a lot faster because of this system, and again, because of the interface. Naturally, due diligence extends well beyond the system, but it makes your work easier because fine, you run your search, check with all these MDAs, you still have to go to the ground anyway. But even if you're going to the ground, you have been able to quickly get your cadastral print. If you need to print it anyway, because with the upgrade, we had a recent training from your team at the ministry. They were kind enough to train some of us. With the upgrade, you're now able to view the cadastral print on the system. Then you would have to pay someone who would go and pay someone or lie about paying someone, then someone. Now, you have loaded your credits. You will go and check the parcel, verify that it actually exists. These are the boundaries. These are the neighbors. Thanks to the system, the due diligence is a lot faster. So, to my point, we are able to manage fraud, ease of work, and like I said, land is a key component in the economy. If you look at the factors of production, land is very key. So I don't know whether the Ministry of Lands is aware that in a way you're controlling the economy. So this expedience is necessary. Back in the day, for example, to register basic mortgage, it would take you over a week. Now, aside the challenges that I will touch, and keeping all factors constant, you can actually register a mortgage in 2 days. Now you see how the economics of the day come into play. We need money, people are able to borrow, to do business. You're facilitating trade. So we not only have the expedience, but a vibrant economy. And maybe related to the point of fraud and the interface that I talked about, I believe this system will also, to a fair extent, to a reasonable extent, reduce the cases that we have in court, or if it doesn't, at least they will be expedited. Because if I'm a judicial officer, you have brought to me a case, land dispute. We're talking about fraud. Then, back in the day, they were entirely depending on the evidence that would provide by way of documents and oral testimony. Of course, now we have a hybrid, we have witness statements and everything. But now the judge can go an extra step, click on the system, check, is this land actually there? So and so is alleging that it is in a wetland. Is it in a wetland or not? All this can be verified real time. This reduces on the unnecessary adjournments. This helps the judicial officers easily relate with the evidence or testimony being given by the expert witnesses and the lawyers who are making the legal arguments.